Hey everybody, I just wanted to make this video on blender parts because I use my blender a lot, and it was smoking the other day. It started smoking. Smoke started pouring up out of here while it was running. And what it was is I replaced the base with a cheap OEM factory copy. And you got to look for the terminology. They'll say factory made, or they'll say OEM. OEM means it's a copy. It means it's made original to the original equipment manufacturer's specifications. That's what OEM stands for. So it doesn't mean it's original when they use that term. And this thing developed a crack in it anyways, and I had to replace it, but it never had the proper dimensions. And what it is this OEM copy right here was sitting down too low in the seat of the blender when I'd have it all assembled. And what it does is it made it so that the blender base was putting pressure on the drive output shaft right here. And the drive output shaft has a built-in harmonic balancer with a rubber bushing that transfers the energy up here to drive your blender. And that rubber bushing was smoking. It's because there was downward pressure because the dimensions on this thing were not proper. And I was holding the blender down, which I do sometimes. But the thing is, I let off on it and it was still problematic. And what I did as a temporary fix is I happen to have another gasket. I put another gasket underneath here. But anyways, to make a long story short, I went ahead and bought the factory one. A real Oster, genuine, original, authentic part. And it has, if you notice right here, if the lighting's just right, it has the Oster logo stamped into the bottom of it. And that's what you want. And so if you're buying these on eBay, and I got this one on eBay as well, make sure that they show a photograph and that they tell you that it's got the original Oster stamp. These other copies, and the people selling these on eBay are real tricky. They'll say terminology like they'll say, well, ours is made in the same factory as the ones in Mexico. They're all made in Mexico. Well, that might be true, but if it doesn't have the Oster stamp on it, there might be some kind of factory second or some knockoff, lower cost copy of some kind. And this is what they look like, the ones that say made in Mexico. They don't have the Oster factory stamp on it. So don't buy these kind. Make sure that you see a picture, and not just a picture of the box that this is in. You want to see the actual blender part with the actual Oster logo impressed into the plastic itself. You want to get genuine parts here, folks. And you know what? This thing costs the same as this one. I got this for $5.27 with free shipping on eBay, and all it came with was the base. The blade I ordered separately from another guy. Anyways, they're about the same. They're about $5 for these. And and by the way, this is a factory Oster blade assembly, and you can see the Oster logo on there. Get the light to reflect on it. That's right. It says Oster. So here's the measurements. This one measured the inside of the lip at 0.55 of an inch when I used my depth gauge on the micrometer. It has a depth gauge here. And I measured it out, and it came to 0.55. And the OEM copy came out to 0.49. And you say, well, that's only 6/100ths of an inch. That's a lot, though, because when you're talking about mechanical clearances, 6/100ths of an inch, for some things it might not matter, but for this it does. It was making my blender smoke, you guys. So don't give me any excuses, because I know there's people out there, all the flamers, all the people on eBay, YouTube, the people that are trolls, that just sit there and troll all day long. You can tell them, because they're just a bunch of snarky little punks. And they're going to make some wisecrack comment, but Get the real deal. They cost about the same. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So they're trying, and here's what I think. I mean, some people are going to think I'm crazy, but I think there's a conspiracy to sell us bogus parts to get our heavy-duty, old-fashioned blenders. Look at this thing. This thing's built out of solid steel. And this is heavy. If you drop this on your foot, you might have to walk in a cast for months. They don't make them like this anymore. The new ones feel like they're filled with styrofoam. They have no weight, and they sound horrible when you run them. I got one at a big box store, and I immediately took it back the next day. I was like, I don't want this thing. It's a piece of junk. I went and scoured yard sales and flea markets, and I found this Oster commercial. It's built like a tank. So are they trying to sell us bogus parts so that our trusty, well-made, American-made equipment will break down on us, so we have to buy cheap, cruddy, little junky stuff? Is that the part of the plan? And why would they make something so off? I mean, 6/100, 7/8, this thing is off. The height, see, what's the difference between 1.331 and 1.222? That's unacceptable. Something's not right here. I mean, how could they be so off? And this is the standard old blender that has the 5 tabs. The newer ones with slightly different dimensions have 6 tabs. The tabs around the edges. Anyways, you guys,